Welcome back to the cryptoworld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now, Bitcoin is still flashing this hidden bearish divergence as the price is now playing out this short-term bearish divergence alongside Ethereum also now playing out this short-term bearish divergence. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, starting off on the 4-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin is still sitting in the red if we're looking at the super trend indicator, so not much has changed here on this chart over the last few days. So getting straight into the 2-day Bitcoin chart, and right now the price of Bitcoin is coming into contact with this previous high, which is a significant level to pay attention to on the Bitcoin price chart, and that's sitting close to around 64,500, give or take. But in order to be more confident that things are really starting to flip bullish in terms of the longer term trends that could last for many months, not just a short term trend that lasts for a few weeks or so, in order to be confident in a longer term bullish trend, we need to see a confirmed breakout, ideally above this massive descending line of resistance that has been holding down the price of Bitcoin for the last half a year or so, and that's currently sitting just underneath 68,000. And so for now, while the price of Bitcoin is still below this line of resistance, sitting just underneath 68,000 once again, at least as of right now, for all we know, this could just be another short-term bullish trend during the larger bearish trend, unless we can finally see a breakout this time around. But either way, the short-term trend is still currently looking bullish. Here on the daily time frame, we're now actually seeing another slight drop to the downside in the DXY in the short term, which is another short-term bullish signal for the price of Bitcoin. Because as we can see throughout Bitcoin's history, not always, but most of the time, when the DXY is trending in the bearish direction, that's usually bullish for the price of Bitcoin, or at least somewhat neutral for the price of Bitcoin. And as we've seen over the last couple of weeks, we have seen a bit of a short-term pullback in the DXY, which has been coinciding with bullish price action for the price of Bitcoin. And as of right now, the DXY itself is actually running into a critical level of support. So if we see a breakdown in the DXY below this previous low back here, which in the DXY is sitting just above 100, give or take, then in that case, that would be a very bearish signal for the DXY, which once again, it would be a very bullish signal for Bitcoin if we see a further breakdown here below this previous low in the DXY. And in fact, if that happens, if we see a breakdown below this low in the DXY, there's a high probability, not guaranteed, but there's a good chance that we'll see a breakout above this previous high in the price of Bitcoin if we see a breakdown in the DXY. And with that being said, taking a look at this daily Bitcoin chart, and once again, the price of Bitcoin is still running into this major area of resistance, which is sitting in between around 64.1k to 64,500 approximately. So right now, that is still the resistance to pay attention to. And as for short-term support, we do have some support close to 63,000 based on the volume profile indicator. But if we were to see a confirmed break below 63,000, then in that case, we do have a bit of support at around 61.9k, and this major area of support based on previous resistance and previous support sitting in between around 60.1k to 61.1k, so basically around 60 to 61,000. And once again, if we were to see a confirmed breakout above around 64,500 in the short term, that would be a very bullish signal. And in that case, we would likely see a run to at least this area of resistance, which is sitting in between around 67 to 68,000. And that's really the final major obstacle for the price of Bitcoin before new all-time highs. Once again, around 68,000 as really the final obstacle. But once again, before we can even make it towards 67 to 68,000, we first have this resistance at around 64,500, which is also helping to form a hidden bearish divergence, as I've talked about over the last few days, because technically speaking, if we're looking at the candle closes in the price action, at least for now, as I've recorded this video, the price of Bitcoin is still forming lower highs as the RSI has confirmed higher highs here on the daily time frame. And so once again, that's known as a hidden bearish divergence, but at least as of right now, we don't really have a lot of confirmation confirming the hidden bearish divergence. Technically speaking, we now have one red candle close, but with that being said, it's a very small red candle here on the daily time frame, so we don't really have a lot of confirmation to actually cement this lower high in place and confirm a rejection here. And so right now, this is a make or break moment for the price of Bitcoin, because if we very soon see a breakout above 64,500 just in the next few days or so, then that could essentially completely invalidate the formation phase of this hidden bearish divergence. But if we take any longer than around half a week to 1 week to actually see a breakout, so for example, if we see 1 week worth of, let's just say, a slight pullback over the next 1 week, there's a very good chance that that would further confirm this hidden bearish divergence, which would likely result in more of a short-term bearish trend starting to play out, basically the continuation of the larger bearish trend, if we first see more confirmation for this hidden bearish divergence, which for now we haven't really seen. And so the situation right now, just to sum it up, the larger trend is still technically bearish. We've not confirmed a bullish trend reversal because we've not confirmed a breakout above 68,000. But the shorter term trend is still bullish because we have not confirmed otherwise. We've not confirmed a short term bearish trend. So the short term trend is still technically bullish. But in the imminent short term, this is a make or break moment as we are running into a critical area on the price chart. And to make matters a little bit more difficult for the Bitcoin bulls out there, as of right now on the 4-hour time frame, we now technically have an active bearish divergence, a traditional bearish divergence, not a hidden bearish divergence here on the 4-hour time frame, with confirmed higher highs in the price of Bitcoin in the candle closes and confirmed lower highs in the 4-hour Bitcoin RSI. And so, as always, a bearish divergence means we're losing bullish momentum in the imminent short term. And here on the 4-hour time frame, this usually plays out in the form of either choppy sideways price action or a slight pullback over the next couple of days or so from when the bearish divergence confirms. So already we have seen roughly 1 day worth of that sort of price action, and this will likely continue at least for the next 1 day approximately. But it's important to understand that this bearish divergence on the 4-hour time frame is not enough to confirm a bearish trend reversal out of this bullish trend right here. So ultimately, it's possible that we could play out this bearish divergence perhaps for another day or so, and then potentially see a continuation of the bullish trend right here if we actually see a breakout very soon over basically the next half a week approximately above this resistance at around 64,500. And if you want to trade these moves in the price of Bitcoin or any other crypto, personally, I take just about all of my trades over on Bybit. So I'll make sure to leave a link to Bybit down below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. And if you use that link down below this video to make a Bybit account and deposit on that account, then you can get up to a $30,000 deposit bonus, but only if you use that link down below this video. And also, if you use that link, it'll take you to this page right here, which is a massive lucky draw happening right now over on Bybit, where you could potentially win up to $100,000 just by trading crypto using the link down below this video. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, you might as well check this out. Once again, first link down below this video. But for whatever reason, if you cannot access Bybit or if you cannot KYC on Bybit, there is Bitfinex, which is another crypto exchange similar to Bybit, but you don't need KYC for Bitfinex, which means if you're in the US or the UK, for example, or another country where you may not be able to access Bybit, there is Bitfinex, which you can access from those countries. Once again, link down below. And if you use that link, you can get up to a 5.5k deposit bonus. And only if you use that link, you can get an exclusive 10% discount on all trading fees on the Bitfinex exchange forever. But that is only if you use the link below this video to make your Bitfinex account. And so as another option out there other than Bybit, once again, there is Bitfinex, links down below if you want to claim those extra bonuses. But with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, and right now we still have liquidity to the downside, which is sitting at around 62.2k approximately. And so that is the primary level of liquidity to pay attention to. That's where the majority of the liquidity is sitting at right now in the short term. But with that being said, we do have some liquidity starting to build to the upside again, really starting at around 64.8k and going up towards around 65.4k, give or take. So right at around 64,500 to 65,500, we're starting to build liquidity in that area. But for now, we do have more liquidity at around 62.2k approximately. And now, as always, nothing is 100% guaranteed, but based on this liquidity, I would not be surprised if potentially sometime over the next 1 or 2 days, we perhaps see a slight move to the downside just to take out that liquidity at around 62.2k, potentially playing out this short-term bearish divergence. And then from there, once again, there is still the possibility that we could remain within this short-term bullish trend. But with that being said, taking a look at Ethereum on the 3-day time frame, and right now we're still seeing that major bounce from this significant area of support, still sitting in between 2150 to 2.2k, but at least for now we're still sitting below a significant level of resistance, which is sitting at around 2.8k. So over the last 1 day, not a lot has changed on this 3-day Ethereum chart. So getting straight into the daily time frame, and right now Ethereum is still playing out this bullish divergence on the daily time frame, which I've been talking about basically every day over the last couple of weeks since all the way back down here. And so technically speaking, we have not confirmed an invalidation signal to invalidate the bullish divergence, which means this bullish divergence on the daily time frame is still technically active. But while we're playing out this shorter term bullish trend as a result of this bullish divergence on the daily time frame, if we're zooming further into the short term right here on the 3-hour time frame, we've now just confirmed an imminent short term bearish divergence, which will likely play out over around 2 days approximately from when the bearish divergence confirmed. And so far it's been close to a day, give or take, from when the bearish divergence confirmed. And obviously I talked about this in my last video here in the channel just yesterday, and since then we did create a slightly higher high in the price of ETH in the candle closes, but the RSI still remained in lower highs. So ultimately we basically reconfirmed this bearish divergence, and since then we have seen more confirmation with some more red candle closes confirming. And so at this point, this short-term bearish divergence is indeed active on the chart, which means potentially over the next day or so, we're likely going to see a bit of a short-term cool-off from all of this bullish price action, meaning we're most likely going to see either some choppy sideways price action or potentially a slight pullback as the most likely outcomes over the next 1 day approximately. But once again, it is possible that that could happen during a shorter-term bullish trend, kind of like what we saw here, for example. And with that being said, taking a look at Solana on the daily time frame, and right now we've just perfectly seen a retest of this previous area of resistance, which is once again now acting as new support, and that's sitting in between around 138 to 143. So like I said, over the last few days, we're coming in for a retest, and this area should now be acting as support, and so far it is indeed acting as support once again. So technically speaking, in terms of the shorter term trend and momentum, things are still looking bullish when we're talking about the short-term trend, and this bullish divergence on the daily time frame is still technically active. But once again, during the bullish trend, we can see the occasional pullback from time to time along the way up. And now if we were to see a confirmed breakback below around 138, then in that situation, that would essentially invalidate this short-term bullish trend, because that would be a very bearish signal just in the short term, likely resulting in a pullback back down towards this area of support in between 120 to 128. But once again, that has not currently happened. This is still acting as support in between 138 to 143, which means for now, while we're still holding above that area, the trend is still looking bullish. And as for resistance to the upside to watch out for, we do have some resistance at around 153 to 154, give or take, and we have this major area of resistance right here at around 159 to 163. And if we're zooming further into the short term, looking at the 8-hour time frame, of course, another reason why we've seen a slight slowdown in this bullish trend over the last few days, and we've come in for that retest, is due to the fact that we're cooling off from overbought territories here in the 8-hour Solana RSI. And obviously I talked about this around half a week ago, give or take, saying that we're most likely going to see either a slight pullback or at least some choppy sideways price action in the short term. And so far we've seen exactly that as expected, because those are the most common outcomes from when we see this overbought signal confirm. But it's important to understand that once again, this can happen during a bullish trend. It does not mean that the bullish trend is over. For example, we saw an overbought signal back here near around mid to late July, and ultimately we continued that bullish trend later on a little bit higher above this previous high, despite an overbought signal confirming and playing out. And so effectively, all this tells us is that we're due to see a reset out of those overbought territories in the RSI. And how we see that reset is by seeing some short-term bearish price action or neutral price action, because both neutral and bearish price action can help to reset the RSI back to the downside out of those overbought territories. And now that we've seen that, technically this has given us some more room to the upside to potentially continue that bullish trend at some point in the coming days or weeks. And so that's why the shorter term trend is still currently looking more bullish than bearish, at least while we're holding above this area, once again in between 138 to 143. And as always, if you want to trade these moves in the price of any crypto, check out those links down below this video to claim those extra bonuses. And if you want to actually know how to trade crypto, no matter if the price is bullish, bearish, or chopping around sideways, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.